So I'm an American Ukrainian, which basically means that my grandparents fled Ukraine during the Stalinist purges in 1945. And I grew up listening to beautiful stories from my grandparents, and they showed me pictures of Lviv, the Carpathian Mountains, Ivano-Frankivsk, and other cities. And basically, since I was a kid, I told my family that I would move over to Ukraine, which is basically my ancestral homeland. So I also traveled to, I think, more than 15 countries now, and Lviv is by far my favorite city. It's close to the Carpathian Mountains, a quick 45-minute to an hour drive. It's a completely walking city. You don't need to have a car. It has decent infrastructure if you want to take public transportation. Before COVID, obviously, the low-cost airlines, tickets cost 15 euros, 20 euros, so I could travel anywhere in Europe I wanted to from Lviv. And it's just the perfect city to live in my opinion.
Lviv is pretty small, but it provides you everything one can looking for in terms of entertainment, services, and this is really cool. Or in other words, it provides you all the benefits from a big city without feeling like a big city.
So I came to Lviv because I wanted to start a company in Eastern Europe, and I made first choice for Ukraine. And then I contacted several large cities with good universities. And the reason that Lviv came out, there were several reasons. Lviv, I heard, was the most beautiful city in Ukraine. And that is nice because I knew I was going to spend a lot of time here. And I bring my clients here. And then the city is indeed extremely beautiful, especially in the summer.
I like living here since 10 years. I arrived to Lviv when it was 2009. What I like about Lviv the most actually is the atmosphere, first of all, and the capacity of the city. I mean, like, it's not a very big city, but it's in between. Like, it's a tiny comfort city. Second is the people, how they treat foreigners, the way how people treat each other here. I mean, like the way people how to welcome other foreigners. It was quite friendly and positive.
Lviv is by far my favorite city in the world. I've been to Stockholm, I've been to Vienna, Amsterdam, Toronto, New York. I've traveled to all the major hubs in the world, and Lviv is perfect. It is like I said earlier, it's a walking city. You don't need to have your own car to travel. You could walk the entire city within an hour. The transportation since 2012, when I first came to Ukraine, has gotten a lot better. So taking the trams from getting point A to point B is really easy.
The beginning it was difficult, but still all the time there is anyone is helping you. You have friends, you have colleagues, you meet someone incidentally. It's step by step, it's going on. But I would say I succeeded everything. I failed anything. So the life is difficult in such a country, of course, because language is number one. In anywhere you go as a tourist or as a businessman, language is number one. But Cyrillic letters here, I could understand at times already, and I succeeded. Yeah, it's nice. I enjoy to do business here.
So moving one's life to another city, yet alone another country, can be quite difficult. But thankfully for me, it was quite easy moving to Ukraine, and specifically Lviv. Given that I speak Ukrainian, given that I had family and friends here, the transition was not difficult for me. Lviv is also a very easy city to move to because so many young people, even people within their 30s and younger, speak pretty good English. So if you're a non-Ukrainian speaker, moving here, it won't be a problem for you.
What was a challenge in the beginning is English level for people that are not working in the IT industry. But now with younger people, more and more, you see a big change there that more and more people, also in hospitality, in the restaurants and the bars, more and more begin to speak English.
Seriously, I think the city is much more accessible for expats than Lvivers, or how you call people in Lviv, Lvivers, think. You can get access very easily to apartments which are furnitured, which is uncommon in Switzerland, in example, internet, mobile phone, car, finding events, concerts, parties. It's very accessible. It's in the end a very touristy city, and thus has to be accessible for newcomers, for new people. So I never run into problems.
Lviv is its own authentic city, but similar to Vienna, Graz, for example.
I love Lviv for the fact that it is a mixture of the old and the new. There's centuries of histories with the Austro-Hungarian buildings, the Polish-Lithuanian buildings, and then you have the modern architecture, the Nova Budova, the new buildings as people call them here that are being built up. The technology industry has skyrocketed. Lviv is one of the top IT hubs in Ukraine. And like I mentioned earlier, I love the fact that it's so close to the Carpathian Mountains. I'm a huge fan, as the Ukrainians say, of traveling to the mountains, getting the fresh air, seeing the beautiful Carpathian Mountains. It's so picturesque there.
I love the architecture and the architectural differences from the different time periods. Beautiful buildings. What is nice to see is there is a lot of renovation happening and restoration, finally. So the difference between 11 years ago and today is quite big.
What I like about Lviv the most, first of all, is it's kind of a comfort city, you know. It's like tiny, you can roll it all around, and second is the people, like more open-minded people, like friendly people, and this is important. And there is big capacity of young people who is living in the city, which is important.
Working in IT, I think it's worldwide every little bit same. Particularly in these days where everybody is working remote. Maybe better question is if I like to work with people from Ukraine, and this I definitely can answer with a yes. The education is very good, people very smart, and if you ask a question like that, I would say definitely yes.
And working in the Ukrainian society, seeing how smart these developers are, smart these business analysts are, designers, any aspect within the technology industry in Ukraine has really taught me a lot and showed me that this is something that I'm truly passionate about. So from a business perspective, fantastic. Transitioning to Ukraine, there was one nuance that was quite difficult, which is the residency permit. Some people do the temporary residency permit, which is a little bit easier to do, but because of my Ukrainian ancestry, I did the 10-year residency permit, and what should take maybe 5 months due to typical government bureaucracy, it took 9 months. So that was probably the only negative that I could even verbalize that I've experienced in Ukraine over almost 2.5, 3 years now. So business great, government bureaucracy not the greatest.
The people that I work with are all people that are having a higher education, all come from university, and we select all people that speak at least a good level of English. So for me, in my offices, it's very easy to communicate with people. Outside the offices, it becomes a little bit more difficult, obviously. But for the moment, that is not like really an issue. The people are technically very skilled, I have to say. So the technical level of the people that we recruit in Lviv, from Polytechnique, the majority, Ivan Franko, another big part, the technical levels are really, really strong compared to average universities in other countries. So yeah, we found great talent here, quite loyal people. I think I made the right choice to select Ukraine, but mainly to select Lviv as the city to go to. Again, thanks to the support also of the Foreign Investment Office and the mayor locally to help foreign investors to, with support to be successful here in Ukraine or in Lviv. I spoke to people from the EU a few times in the past, and they also recognize that Lviv is one of the top cities probably to invest in for foreigners.
At the end of the day, it's great life and great success. And you always have the city behind you and also the possibilities outside of the city. For example, I very much like to go outside in the Carpathian mountains. I enjoy hiking there, biking there, just being among the local peoples in the Carpathian mountains. It's a great opportunity. I really like it. The city, it means a good mix of business and rest. I appreciate to walk with my family through the city, having a good coffee, having a good beer as well, called good beer, Lviv beer, and having a good lunch or dinner at any of these many Georgia's restaurants in Lviv.
Huge improvement on logistics and the roads, and very important for me as a Dutch person, a lot of bicycle roads were made. The change that I've seen in the city since I joined here, it came here 11 years ago. If I see the progress of the city, it is really incredible. And I hear it from clients, because I have customers that come here also 9 or 10 years. And then they haven't been here for 2 years, and they come back and they say, wow, look at all those changes. Streets that used to be dark, and with one shop now are full with shops and restaurants and bars. So the whole city center is expanding with better locations for nightlife and tourism. So yeah, I think the city is doing really an amazing job. And I wonder if people who live here day to day realize that. It is probably a foreigner who is coming now and then who will notice these things more than local people. And local people might complain more about the little things that are still not done, or bigger things that are not done. And then you don't see the progress that is made on so many other areas. So yeah, I think you guys can be proud of what happened to the Lviv city. I noticed that people from Lviv are very proud of Lviv. Lviv was even described in many tourist journals as the undiscovered pearl of Europe. And it is really, really true. Cost is relatively low for foreigners to go here to hotels and go to restaurants, so that is nice. And you have to know your way a little bit in the city. But okay, there were tour guides or you have friends and family. But the city is really a wonderful city, and the city of lions.
So one other thing that I really love about Lviv and Ukraine in general is the fact that people here truly cherish their work-life balance. In America, I was used to working 12, 14 hours a day, and I still had to commute, an hour or an hour and a half due to traffic from home to work. So that's either 2.5, 3 hours of traveling a day plus the working hours. Here in Ukraine, like I said, people cherish the work-life balance. I'm able to work 8 to 10 hours a day, and I'm able to have a life outside of work. In the mornings, I play squash or tennis, or go grab breakfast with friends, or coffee, whatever it is. I do all the things that I need to do in the morning. I work, and then in the evening, I'm also able to decide, do I go play squash or tennis? Do I go hang out with friends? So it's that work-life balance that is something that no amount of money would ever make me want to go back to the United States, to be honest with you. So I really think that's important for people to realize. If you like a laid-back lifestyle, if you cherish your work-life balance, come to Ukraine.
you